What's good? What's good, all my trader and investor homies? It's your boy Kevin. This is Touchdown Trades, the home of the #1 investing and active trading channel on all of YouTube. My name is Kevin, your trading BFF, your stock market bestie, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about my top 3 penny stocks in the EV sector. Because the big auto manufacturers, Ford, GM, Toyota, Honda, they have failed to follow the EV trend. They stuck with their game and they have failed to get into the EV sector fast enough, which has opened the door for a bunch of small EV boutique-like companies, small caps, penny stocks to get in the game, build a foundation, build a small business model, and they can use that small business model to grow as the EV penetration rate increases. As the EV penetration rate grows, these small EV companies are going to grow by default. They're going to the moon. I've found 3 penny stocks that I believe have massive growth potential because of the growth potential of the entire EV market. 20 years from now, when you drive around your neighborhood, maybe 30-40% of the cars driving around will be EV. Today, it's only about 3%. So imagine that growth over the next 10 years or so. There are a lot of small EV companies out there that over the next 10 or 15 years are going to experience astronomical growth, massive growth. I mean massive growth, like Jack and the Beanstalk style growth. These 3 companies that we're going to be discussing today have the attributes to build a business model, to build a foundation, and grow with the EV sector. So as always, let's secure that bag by making smart investments and sound trades. Let's get it. What's good, all my trader and investor homies? Today we're going to be talking about my top 3 EV penny stocks. Before we get started, go ahead and smash that like button for me, as these videos do take me quite a while, a lot of time, research, energy to make, and all I ask for in return is go ahead and destroy that like button for me. If you're not yet a subscriber, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you get alerted every time I post a video. Alright, do check out the link in the description for the stock charts. These are TrendSpider stock charts. We are now partnering with TrendSpider. It is an awesome charting package for swing traders and longer term investors. The absolute best charting package I have ever used. And there's a 2-week free trial link in the description. Ticker number 1, SOLO. Electra Mechanica Vehicle Corp. Alright, we've talked about this one in the past, but it's been a minute and we're about to go back over it because I think this company has a lot of potential. We talked about it, I think the first time we talked about it was back here when it was trading under $3. Had a really nice run up and then it's since pulled back. But we have this nice triangle formation forming where we're holding over $2. And if any direction comes in this at all, it's either going to make a huge move to the upside or a huge move to the downside, and I think it's going to make that move to the upside. So let's break down this ticker SOLO. So this Solo is an EV auto manufacturer, and they built and developed this 1-seater EV car that I think has a lot of potential for urban drivers, people who are commuting in the city and just need a little vehicle to get around town. The population growth in this country is not sustainable. If you live in a big city like I do, I live about 20 minutes outside of Atlanta, you know that driving around these urban environments is just nuts. The traffic is absurd. People driving around in big cars, the footprints are crazy. Getting to work, even if you only live 5 minutes away, can take you an hour in these big cities like LA, Chicago, New York, I already said LA, Atlanta. All these big cities, the traffic sucks, and I think we all need to lower our footprint. So if you have a couple and a guy's driving to work, you only need a 1-seater anyways. Why drive a big SUV? You can lower your footprint. Take a look at its specs. It has a range of 100 miles, which is fine for most people commuting in the city. Top speed of 80 miles per hour, so it's going to be fine to drive on the highway, and it takes 2.5 hours to charge, which is also fine. I also think this vehicle would be great for DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats drivers. There's plenty of trunk room for them to put their orders in the back of there and deliver their DoorDash or Grubhub, whatever, to the customer base. I also think that's going to be a big market for this Solo to target. We can see down at the bottom of the screen, we have an MSRP of only $18,500, which is going to be much cheaper than any other car. This is not going to take the place of a family vehicle. This is not going to take the place of a soccer mom vehicle, as it only has one seat. But if there's two people in a household commuting to different locations, both in the city, one person could use the family car while the other person could drive this to work. It will lower the footprint of the family, it's clean energy, and it makes sense. Here we have a chart comparing the true cost of ownership to some of the Solo's competitors. So Solo is going to come in as the cheapest option over the lifespan of the vehicle. This chart takes into account federal tax credits, insurance, maintenance, repairs, taxes, financing, depreciation, and chargers. Some of the big comparisons are going to be to this Mini Cooper. The Solo is much cheaper. The Nissan Leaf, the Solo is much cheaper. The Chevy Bolt, the Solo is much cheaper. So if you're just driving around in city, all you need to do is get to point A to point B and then back to point A again. This Solo is going to be a great option for your urban city drivers. I think we have to do something. We have to lower our footprint because it's just too crazy out there. Think about if the population growth continues, how bad the traffic in these cities is going to be 20 years from now. We have to think of stuff like this Solo in order to lower the overall footprint in these big urban environments. So let's talk about my plan in investing in this Solo. I'm looking for this $2 level to act as support, and I'm looking for us to break out of this descending triangle to the upside, and I think we have potential of breaking over this $5 per share area. That's my target price, is that $5 per share area. And then I would take some profit off the table and then look for these recent highs to break. So $2 is the risk, $5 is the profit target. Ticker number 2 is going to be AYRO, AYRO Inc. So AYRO is going to be I compare it to being like the poor man's workhorse. But hey, there is going to be some niche companies that make it in this industry. They build and manufacture these small utility vehicles that you would see driving around a big college campus, a big apartment complex where the maintenance crew could drive this around and do their maintenance stuff. So they manufacture this smaller body. You've seen the small Isuzu trucks before driving around the road. These are something similar. You'd see a landscaping crew have something like that. Here are some of the industries this AYRO is targeting. We got education. Like I said, my college campus, Georgia State University, you would see those kind of vehicles driving around all the time. Corporate campuses, so big industrial buildings, you would see the maintenance crew driving around in vehicles like that. Hotels and resorts, the maintenance staff. Government campuses, you could see the maintenance crew as well. Food, beverage, and retail, malls, shopping centers, that type of application. The Club Car 411 is the vehicle that I have interest in. This is the vehicle that I think has the potential to provide this company tons of growth. We can see these are the flatbed little trucks that they manufacture. They have different sizes, so this smaller size, this is the one you probably see driving around a college campus, and similar to this middle one, but this far right one I think could be used as a landscaping truck, something along those lines. So these vehicles do have a top speed of about 25 miles an hour. You're not going to see them driving down the highway, but that's plenty of get up for a college campus, a business campus, a mall, shopping center, that type of application. So this company also manufactures a 3-wheel little urban car similar to the one we just went over that Solo manufactures. So I believe with this AYRO, you're getting the best of both worlds, right? You're getting the little pickup truck that you see at college campuses, that you see in malls with the maintenance crew using, and you're also getting the urban 3-wheel lower footprint vehicle. But the difference with this one is it's a 2-seater, right? You could take out that back seat if you were a DoorDash driver, something along those lines. So I think this AYRO maybe has a little more upside than Solo. So I like to see that they are going to be targeting government agencies and fleets with this smaller 3-wheel vehicle. You can see their use cases. They have parcel mail delivery, cargo delivery, parking enforcement, food delivery, public safety, and personal use. So I like to see these EV companies that are targeting fleets We've seen that with companies like Lordstown Motors and Workhorse. Targeting those big fleets is where the real revenue can come from. All right, let's talk about my personal plan with this AYRO. We have tons of support down here at the 250 area. We've held that area for quite a while now, and we're just coming back into it. So we're getting this at a discounted price. We've been trading up over $5 for most of the year. We've been popping up, then coming back down, popping up, coming back down. So I'm expecting this thing to do what it's been doing for the past year or so. That's popping up when it comes back towards this 250 area. So next week, I'm going to be looking to buy any pullbacks. And I'm making this a longer term investment, not so much a swing trade. I'm looking to get at least 100% out of this AYRO and for it to break back up over $5 a share. So my price target on this AYRO is going to be $5. The third and final ticker we're going to be talking about is this IDEX. Ideonomics Inc. is kind of a company that's not really an EV auto manufacturer per se, but what they do is they try to market and sell EV cars and trucks to fleets. So here is the overview for the Ideonomics business model. They are focused on facilitating the adoption of commercial electric vehicles by fleet operators, provide full service procurement and financing services to fleet operators. So they're kind of like the pimp, the middleman for fleets and EV auto manufacturers. Ideonomics will find the financing and find the EV vehicles for fleets who are in need of new cars and trucks. So they are headquartered in the United States, in New York, and have offices in Beijing, Guangzhou, and other parts of China, Ukraine, and Malaysia. So this is a multinational operation. You guys know I am big into the fleets, and this is a company whose bread and butter is trying to sell EV to fleets. So they are big into commercial EV sales, group EV sales, fee-based revenues from financing, though this is an American-based company with their feet in China. So we know China is just a massive population that is trying to become more energy efficient and start using more clean energy. So that the fact that this company has its ends in China is good news, and they can target and try to sell some of these American EV cars or Chinese EV cars, doesn't really matter, to some of these Chinese corporations that need to upgrade their fleet. One of the main things I like about this IDEX is the chart. The chart is looking pretty tasty. We have a nice setup over this 75-cent support area. So this 75-cent gap fill area is going to be my risk. We came down and tested that area a couple times and we've held support. This was trading up above 350 just about a month and a half ago. So I'm going to look for this area to hold and look for us to get back up over $2 per share. So I think we have at least 100% upside, and I'm putting a price target of $2 per share on this IDEX. All right, guys, that's going to wrap things up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You got some use out of my top 3 EV penny stocks that I'm watching right now. If you enjoyed it or got anything from it, go ahead and hit that like button for me, as it helps the channel grow and it helps me out a lot. If you haven't yet subscribed, consider subscribing. What you waiting on? I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Drop.